So I saw a couple things on social media yesterday I want to drop into and just kind of maybe give you a little bit of help about this. Some of the things that happened in Arizona and Pennsylvania, in Georgia, even California and in Nevada. There's some real shenanigans happening with people who were voting Republican. And it's true, it's just what it is, okay? Now, you and I, I want to just give you kind of a difference here in what it means to be you as a person, what it means to be you, and not to be like the ones who, would destroy the world to get what they want because they throw a temper tantrum. You're different than that. And the reason why you're different than that is because you hold to something different, but you need to know the why behind it. See, there's two things here that are important for you and me, okay? In uncertainty, you should be the most certain, okay? You should be the most certain when things get funky, because if you know your why, you'll be able to withstand the weather and the shaking of foundations that happen around us in our society. You should be able to withstand that. If you're not able to, I understand, because you're not really taught about these things. And so I want to be a real support for you in that, and maybe help to guide you in that. Because believe me, like when times get uncertain, you want to go freaking out and wild out and, act crazy. I saw, one of my buddies hit me up yesterday with the video, these folks in Baco that were going after this woman with Black Lives Matter. It's like, and they're Trump supporters going after this BLM person. You ain't got to do all that, okay? Now, that might be a freaking minority of the times that go out, because we've seen already the riots and stuff. Those weren't Trump supporters destroying cities. And I went to the thing here in La Mesa to do the cleanup. That wasn't Trump supporters. Those were BLM and Antifa. They did that. They destroyed that. They got the two goofballs, like that 31-year-old and that 18-year-old. They got arrested. So thank God for the FBI coming in and actually saving the day to get those fools arrested. But you need to understand, you got to be like them, okay? Don't be like them, because we're not, okay? And if you decide that you're going to be like that, I'll freaking separate myself from your butt in a heartbeat, dude. That's not my deal, okay? So you should be the most certain in uncertainty, because right now things are uncertain, and you don't have to be a person that pushes out conflict and violence, and that you got to do that. Now, you can protest, and you can actually have a peaceful protest, okay? Do so. Do that with integrity. Don't be these fools out here that talk about being social justice warriors, destroying all kinds of crap, and saying that they're in the line of MLK. MLK was the most nonviolent protester ever, and he got his message across without destroying the world like these fools want to do. I ain't down with any of that stuff. Now, the second thing is here, conflict should actually draw out the best in you, not the worst. So verbal conflicts, things in, I don't get into debates on social media really, and people, a lot of people, they hop onto my page and want to freaking debate me about crap, and that's fine. I mean, some of my friends are just goofballs. They like to kind of stir the pot, and I got my friends who are the spoon, the spoon lovers, who just like to stir stuff up. But most of you guys know that I don't go onto people's pages and start to try to rebuke them or try to, re-educate them and do all that other crap people are trying to do to me. I don't do that just because it's just not my deal. And I'm not trying to be in control of people in that way. But you need to understand that in conflict, your character will show out the most. It really, truly will. And if you are a person that gets vitriolic or angry to the point of going to rage, you got to get some stuff worked out in your heart, man, because that stuff is not becoming of an adult. Now, that's the reason why, you see these people in some of these groups, these so-called social justice warrior groups. These folks are nowhere near being adults. They don't have control over their emotions. They don't have control over themselves. And that's a sad state of affairs, man. If you're an adult and you can't control your emotions, and I'm not saying I'm perfect at this, but I'm just being real with you. If you don't have control over yourself in conflict like that, even when things seem to be going against your way, then your age is just a number, and you're not really maturing. I want you to mature in that, and especially in conflict, because it doesn't need to go funky, and you don't need to be somebody who turns into a freaking monster and stuff. You ain't got to do all that. So, but I'll give a little caveat here, okay? In physical conflict, there's no holds barred, none. And in fact, I don't like getting into conflict, but handling myself is something that I yeah, don't even go there. But I'll tell you that in situations like that, there are no holds barred. There is no kindness in a physical conflict, and you will find no kindness in me at all. You will find somebody who will do anything and everything to scrap out of that, and will not be kind. And there may be some maiming happening. I'm just being real with you. I'm not playing about that, but I just want to be real with you, okay? But you don't need to be that inside of verbal issues or character issues. You got to do all that, okay? Just keep your cool, and you really do want to back away from physical conflict, because in reality, you don't know who you're going up against, who that person is, or what even you're capable in that. You just don't want to go into those situations. But lastly here, I just want you to understand, okay? your character will always show out in every single one of these situations. Who you are on the inside will show out, and you gotta, if you're not really grounded, I'm freaking it. I'll give you guys an example. Okay, I'm gonna give you an example real fast, and then I'll try to do this as best I can without there being a whole bunch of divulge into what the situation was. But I had to go up against a machine at one point, and that machine was a very big machine, and I was asked to do some things that went against my character, and that was very difficult for me. And when I was asked to do some stuff, I basically had to stand on my own. And when I stood on my own, I basically got punished for it. But I was okay with that, because truth and reality is that I'm not going to change because somebody thinks that I need to. I know who I am. And because of that situation, it helped me to really be grounded in what my faith is, not only as a pastor, but also too as a Christian man, also as a man. And in that, it helped me to define myself. I know where I end, and I know where other people begin, which is why I have boundaries with people, and I don't let folks act all wild with me. You know, I know where the boundary lines are, and folks know usually know about me as well too. But in that situation, I could have capitulated, and I could have changed definitely, and I would have been I wouldn't have been a man. Okay, I would have been a dude. I would have just been an older dude, not a man. A man actually stands for himself, knows his character, and understands why. If you don't understand your why, you will always be blown and tossed around in the wind. I know what my faith says. I know what the things about my faith. I don't know things about my own character that help me to become the man that I actually am. And this is something that I'm building on my own. And in fact, I'll talk a little bit about this later on today, because I have some good updates about that stuff. And if you do want to give to, you want to donate to what I'm putting together, please do. I got to buy some drywall here soon. But you need to understand what it means to have your why, because the folks out there that don't understand what is it they believe about themselves, about the nation, about situations in conflict and stuff like that, they'll just become something, they'll mold right into the crowd. And the mob rule is dangerous rule, man. And you become a part of that, you'll put yourself into some bad situations for nothing. So I want you to understand this, okay? If you don't know your why, you don't know what you're about, everything will be about the what. You can wear a flag like this and not really know about the why. You can say Black Lives Matter and all that stuff, but never know what the why. If your why is undetermined, then you will be tossed around. And maybe you do know your why, maybe you do know that, but if you've never really studied it, you've never really dive into the truth about those things, then you need to understand that you have to actually take the time to study it. You have to actually take the time to know what's going on, because if you don't, you'll be manipulated, and I don't want you to be manipulated, all right? So remember, when things are the most uncertain, you should be the most certain about yourself. And when you're in conflict, that conflict should draw out the best in you. It should always draw out the best in you. Your ability to keep control of yourself, keep control of your tongue, keep control of your emotions. Because if you don't, you'll be like those people on the TV, even the makers of the TV, who want to manipulate you. Those fools, they actually do think that they have an ability to manipulate you the way that they want. They can't do that to me, which is why I pissed off so many people. Because I can't be manipulated. I'm not a freaking punk. But if I could, that's because I know my why. But if you need assistance in that, this is what I'm here for, okay? I want to be a support for you. If you need to go out, protest peacefully. I see what's going on in Arizona. I see what's going on in California. I see all these things. You guys are all sending me all these messages, and I totally see it. But understand this. My character in this will always show out. And I'll do what I need to do for my own, and I'll do what I need to do for you. But don't become what they are. Don't do it. Take care. Be safe on the street.